Yeah, beat your addiction, live free. Ralf Friedrichs is who you see. Listen in when you're feeling low. Take back your life, today's show. Beat your addiction, live free. Ralf Friedrichs is who you see. Listen in when you're feeling low. Take back your life, today's show. Stay positive, hope, and keep faith. Stand strong against any odds that you face. Put away the alcohol and the drugs. Fill your time with the things you love. Addiction is tough, but it's worth the work. Treat your body what it's worth. Spread positivity, inspire all. If we stand together, we will never fall. I help others see the other sides of life. A sober life, letting go of the strife. So give me a call, I can help. 1-844-4405-HELP. Homeless shelters, hospitals, jails, wherever you are. I am Ralf Friedrichs and I am here for you. 1-844-405-HELP.
Hello, my name is Ralf Friedrichs. I'm an addiction recovery coach, a life coach, and the host of this show, the Take Your Life Back Today show. Addiction, choice or disease, my friends? We've heard it over and over again. Addiction is a disease. However, there has been a debate about whether or not it's a choice. Some people feel that those who have the addictions made poor choices in life and that it is a matter of willpower to break their dependence. How others feel that addiction is a disease that affects the brain, and without professional help from addiction treatment experts, it's very hard to stop. According to a 2016 Surgeon General's report, it finds drug and alcohol addiction to be one of America's most pressing public health concerns. It's time to change how we view addiction, U.S. Surgeon General Vivek Murthy wrote in his landmark report, not as a moral failing, but as a chronic illness that must be treated with skill, urgency, and compassion. We are in a crisis in America. However, while many researchers, scientists, and professionals do claim that the addiction is a brain disease, there are others who negate the research and back it up with evidence that addiction ultimately comes down to a choice. Here, at the Take Your Life Back Today show, we want to take the bipartisan standpoint on the topic and break down the two beliefs and leave it up to you to decide. So let's dig right into it. The definition of disease. Merriam-Webster defines the word disease as a condition of living, animal or plant, or one of the parts that impairs normal functioning and typically manifested by distinguishing signs and symptoms. Folks, the first time individuals drink or take drugs, they do so voluntarily, and they believe they can control their use. With time, more and more alcohol and or drugs are needed to achieve the same level of pleasure and satisfaction as when they first started. Seeking out and taking the substance becomes a near constant activity, causing significant problems for them and their families and friends. At the same time, progressive changes in the brain drive compulsive, uncontrollable drug use, known as addiction. When this happens, individuals can no longer voluntarily choose to use drugs or alcohol, even if it means losing everything they once valued, impairing normal functioning and distinguished as symptoms of going to any lengths to get a drink or to get their fix on drugs. My friends, why addiction is a disease? Addiction is categorized as a long-term chronic disease, and like other chronic diseases such as diabetes or cardiovascular disease, treatment and monitoring has to be maintained throughout the patient's lifetime. Folks, the action is not new. 2 centuries ago, Dr. Benjamin Rush went to write about this. However, the doctor wasn't backed up until later in the 1930s when Alcoholics Anonymous presented alcoholism as a disease, and the mind associated with the American Society of Addiction Medicine defines addiction as a disease. And additionally, it also is written in the Diagnostic Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, I should say. Folks, heart disease or cancer, addiction is caused by a combination of behavioral, environmental, biological factors, just like any other disease. Additionally, genetic risk factors account for a large percentage of it. New research in the brain over the last 20 years, new findings have convinced experts and American Society of Addiction Medicine members that the definition needed to be changed so that focus not only is what's happened but with behaviors, but with the brain. In 2011, after a 4-year process, ASAM created a new definition with the input from over 80 experts, including top addiction medicine doctors, neuroscience scientists from across the USA, as well as every member of ASAM's board of governing folks. ASAM determined that addiction is classified as a primarily a disease, not caused by something psychiatric, but it's something that's caused due to the brain, leading to addictive behaviors that supplement healthy behaviors, while memories of previous alcohol and drug trigger cravings and renewal of addiction or addictive behaviors. Folks, brain that directs impulse control and judgment become altered, and the person with the addiction begins to have dysfunctional and pursuit of rewards when seeking out alcohol and drugs. Those who are exposed to drugs and alcohol early can be at higher risk of becoming addicted later in life due to the area of the brain still developing. Choice plays a role, there is no doubt about it, but getting help is the key. Dr. Raju, former president of Canadian Society of Addiction Medicine and chair of ASAM Committee on the Definition, said the disease creates distortion in thinking, feelings, and perception, which drive people to behave in the ways that are not understandable to others around them. Folks, addictive behaviors are not manifestation of the disease, not a cause. Choice still plays an important role in getting help. While the neurobiological of choices made may never be fully understood, addiction must make choices for a healthier life in order to maintain a good recovery, because there is no pill which alone can cure addiction. Choosing recovery, also unhealthy behaviors, is necessary. Former president of ASAM, Dr. Miller, who oversaw research to determine this conclusion, noted that many chronic diseases require behavioral choices, such as people with heart disease choosing to eat healthier or begin exercise, in addition to medical and surgical intervention. So we have to stop moralizing, blaming, controlling, or smirking at the person with the disease of addiction and start creating opportunities for individuals and families to get help, providing assistance to choosing proper treatment. While stigma of addiction can alter perception of those perceived that is normal failing, it can be evidence above that addiction appears to be brain problem whose behavior manifests in all other areas of the function. It also concludes by the evidence shown that the disease of addiction is about underlying neurological instead of outward action. Why addiction is a choice. On the flip side of the debate are researchers, people who believe that addiction is a choice. Some experts point out that with any persistent change in behavior will cause changes in the central nervous system. Additionally, the argument is made that, for an example, the brains of readers will be different than the brains of non-readers. Harvard psychologists noted dismantled scientific assumption, arguing that addiction is first and foremost governed by personal choice and does not therefore have clinical consequences. Here's the thing, folks. I truly don't believe it's a choice. I truly believe that addiction is a disease, and we have to believe that. Haleman's analysis is based on the fact that there are always two best ways to make choices. That's why I truly believe that choices do not work, is what he said. Because people make choices, and you do have a choice to smoke and drink, but the choice doesn't require your brain to say, I need it to survive. A workaholic, for example, starts out taking into account only immediate demands of working, dropping every other consideration, and that's how the brain is with addiction. But he ends up, according to himself and everybody around him, working too much, like the brain says, to drink and use drugs. The model just tries to formalize that idea, and it is really just common sense. Heyman theorizes that when people are choosing the drug, they're thinking that moment or that day would be better if they did it and abuse it. A chronic smoker will think that the next 3 minutes would be better with a cigarette than without it. But after a year of smoking 20 cigarettes per day, adding up to 60 minutes each day, you might think I'd rather have 60 minutes of not smoking each day. Unfortunately, you don't have to choose 60 minutes at a time. You decide 1 cigarette at a time or 3 minutes at a time, and that's what makes it so difficult. Addiction may not be chronic relapse disease. As Heyman did research, he wanted to find out how drug use turned over a voluntary behavior to an involuntary one. As he taught his students, he wanted to give them some feelings of what addiction was like. From there, he began reading biography histories and started reading about addictions. He explains that the data gave a very different picture than the one I expected. The literature on how addicted people behave showed that they stopped using drugs, and they did so because of family issues, or there was a choice between the children and continued drug use, or they were moving on to an environment where it was disapproved of. In other words, the kind of things that influence all of everyday decisions were influencing people who are heavy drug users to stop using. And it was so consistent. Each report supported the other. It's unhealthy. Many argue that believing in addiction is a disease, not only incorrect, but it's simply unhealthy. They point out that the humans, we always have a choice. They believe that if they really have no choice in the matter, then they would recover from addiction. But people do recover, and that happens by choice. Choice or disease, that's what it comes down to. While both sides have some impactful points, each individual has to make their own decision whether addiction or alcoholism is a choice or a disease. Perhaps you believe it's a disease that can be triggered by choice. If potential addict never makes that choice to drink or use drugs, they will never become dependent on the substance. But if they do make the choice to use or drink, then they lose the power to continue to make the choice. What are your thoughts? Choice or disease? Call me at 844-405-HELP, because together, you and I, we can help each other take our lives back. Be good to yourselves, be good to each other, and remember, a simple smile to a total stranger can make a huge change in their life, and it can also change your life. May God bless you. May God bless America. And this is our first episode where we are actually filming the video and doing the radio talk show. So I hope to see you guys real soon, and take good care of yourselves. Take care. Bye-bye. And remember, God truly loves you.
The show is over, but your life starts today. Taking back your life's the only way. Keep faith, stay positive, push through. Take back your life, it starts with you. Alcohol and drugs can't control your life. Let go of the negative and the strife. Ralf Friedrichs is the man guiding your way. The show is over, but your life starts today. Call Ralf Friedrichs at 1-844-405-HELP. That's 1-844-405-HELP. We hope you love the show today, and tune in next time. Take back your life today show with Ralf Friedrichs. Yeah.
May God bless you all today, and remember, this was the first show that we did where we actually videotaped and did the radio show at the same time. Hope it turned out. Can't wait to see you all tomorrow, and take good care. God bless you.